brilliant talk. That is Buffalo to a core, baby. How about those Buffalo Bills? Right here, baby! Right here! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3,
Hello, everybody, and welcome into Week 6 of the Sean McDermott Show. Thanks for joining us. We're presented by Kaleida Health once again. And Sean, thanks for spending some time with us. Suffered your first tough loss of the season, 3-point loss. You knew it was going to be a gritty game. Division games are always tough. You mentioned on the post game that, it just wasn't winning football. And whenever you lose a close game like that, you feel like that. What's your message to your team after a loss like that?
Yeah, we've got to make sure we learn from it. We're looking at it from the standpoint of we need to be more detailed. We need to be on the ins and outs of a play and making sure that we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's. And there's an urgency that comes with a winning approach, and that's where the foundation for winning comes from.
Well, you talk about Josh. He was 22 of 31 for 250-some yards, a couple of TDs. He threw the interception. Mentioned in his post-game show about it was a little sloppy. The 3 turnovers were certainly a problem, and historically Josh has been really good at bouncing back after a loss. How have you seen Josh evolve in the way he processes, deals with losses, what he does with his leadership? You've seen his whole career. Where are we now with Josh and after a tough loss like this, and what do you expect from him?
Well, I do expect that rebound. He has a great ability to reset, get his kind of edge back, and making sure that he is razor sharp the next week. And he was still really good. He just, we got a little bit, careless with the ball on a poor decision heading into the red zone there, and he knows it. But he also made a number of spectacular plays as well. So, as I said before, we refer to him as the human eraser, and he continues to show why he's named that.
Yeah, right. Well, this week, if everybody eats, this week it was Dalton Kincaid, 6 catches for 108 yards. The first 100-yard game of his career, right? Ranked second in the league among tight ends and receiving yards. So he's kind of has taken a big step forward. What does having a consistent tight end production from Kincaid do for your offense going forward? I know you run a lot of 13 personnel with Knox and Hawes on the field as well, but Kincaid being as consistent as he is, what's that do for you?
Well, it's huge. A tight end is a quarterback's best friend, and when they get in trouble, they know where to find the tight end, where he is on the field. And I think when you've got a great rapport with your tight end as a quarterback, it makes for a good 1-2 combination, and then it kind of opens up the rest of the passing game as well.
Defensively, he had some bright spots against a really good quarterback in Drake May. You knew he was going to be a problem, and it looks like you're stuck with him for a while now, right? You're going to face him twice a year. He had 4 sacks against him. You forced a fumble on him. You held them to 71 yards rushing, only allowed 23 points on the game. I mean, there's a lot of positives to come out of this, and you were dealing with a ton of injuries on that side of the ball defensively. Where do you think your defense is at now 5 weeks in?
Well, I think we've grown every week. When you look at the defense and, it was talked about the run game. They knocked out the run game last night, and third downs have gotten better. Red zone's gotten better. So we're making strides in the right direction. Still looking for us to play a complete game. That's growth, though, and what those guys have done and accomplished, we're moving in the right direction.
All right, so the first 5 games, take a quick synopsis. 4-1. For the first 5, though, were in your building, so you had a nice home stretch here. You're 2-1 in the division. What are some key takeaways that you and your team can bring with you through the next phase of this season?
Yeah, not lose sight of who we are and how we got to where we have gotten to over the years, and in particular this year. And even though it's a young season at this point, we're going into a tough stretch of the season, and some of those games are away, to your point, but it's going to test our mental and physical toughness.
All right, Coach. Thanks. We'll catch up with you later in the show to get your final thoughts on facing the Falcons on Monday Night Football. Stay with us.
Game Plan is presented by Energy Mark, official energy supplier of the Buffalo Bills.
When we come back, Eric Wood gives us his breakdown of last Sunday's game and the first 5 games of the season. Later on, follow along with Bills legend Ryan Fitzpatrick as he takes a tour of new Highmark Stadium. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Sean McDermott Show. We're pleased to be joined now by our good friend Eric Wood. Eric, an overview of the Bills season so far. Certainly a bad taste in their mouth over this last Patriots game, but man, oh man, at 4-1, the Bills still look to be pretty formidable.
They do. And are there concerns with the Bills at this point of the season? Yes. Are there concerns with every team in the NFL? Yes. This is, I believe, only the fourth time in NFL history there wasn't an undefeated team after week 5. And so when you look at it, there's a lot of parity around the league. You like where the Bills are sitting at 4-1. Do we wish that loss wasn't against the Patriots? Of course. It's a division opponent, a team that we knew was likely going to be our biggest test this year in the division, and now they own, for the time being, the tiebreaker over us. But, it took a lot for the Bills to do to themselves against the Patriots on Sunday to be able to end up losing in their home stadium for the first time since 2023. Bright future ahead for this Bills team. A lot of times you can learn a lot from a loss. It's a gut check. It's a humbling experience. But I don't have a whole lot of panic in regards to this team.
Yeah, one of the things, too, we're going to talk about the offense and defense both, but let's start with the penalties. That was a really choppy first half of football, and it seemed to be tilted towards the Bills. 8-2 penalties in the first half, and it really, I thought, hurt the offense's ability to move the football.
It did. It always will. You look at a first half where you have 8 penalties and you have 2 fumbles, and you only get 3 points, but you're averaging 6.1 yards per play in the first half. That's what the Bills have averaged per play on average this entire season, with one of the top offenses in the entire NFL. And so when you put yourself behind the chains consistently with penalties, when you turn the football over, when you're driving in games, or even when you're backed up like they did on the Keon Coleman fumble, that's going to crush you. They still were only down 3 after the first half, but offensively, what they've done so well this year is staying ahead of the chains, getting to third and manageable, second and manageable. Every time they did it last night, it just felt like, here comes the penalty. Now we're in an obvious pass situation, or we're fighting back to get those yards back.
A little frustrating as well to waste what overall was a pretty good defensive performance. Of course, Steph Diggs reminded us what kind of player he is, no question about it. But overall, this defense, holding the Patriots to 23 points, you kind of feel like you should have won that game.
No, I'm with you. And give Drake May credit, give Stephon Diggs credit. They made some remarkable plays, especially in the second half when they needed it most. Sometimes you just have to tip the cap. And there's been plenty of times we played other teams and Josh Allen does something miraculous, or whoever it may be, and they say, look, we got beat today, and those guys made the plays. Unfortunately for the Bills, Stephon Diggs goes off. There was times where there was cushion and you give him a little too much space. There's other times where he's making plays that were, we haven't seen those in a couple of years from Stephon Diggs, and give him credit. He showed up in a big way, prime time, going back to Buffalo, all the spotlights on him, and he got the job done. And like I said, sometimes you just have to tip the cap.
Appreciate it, Eric. Thanks. We'll talk to you next time.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Steve.
Still to come on the Sean McDermott Show, Bills legend Ryan Fitzpatrick takes us on a tour of new Highmark Stadium. Then Sportsology looks at some next-gen stats.
I feel an overwhelming sense of pride for what this building is going to represent for all of Buffalo, and the thought that went into every little piece of this building. I think the fans are going to absolutely love it, and I cannot wait to get out here to attend the game.
We're kind of going to walk the route of a player. So this is player coach parking is all over here. Game days, players will actually report right here as opposed to the training center first.
Right.
This area we're in is for the players' families. Whole dining area.
So either pregame, tarp on the field, weather's not good.
Yeah.
Players need to warm up, or when there's a weather delay, like there's already been a couple of those this year.
Right.
There's lightning in the area, something going on. Teams have to go back. Team can be staying loose and warming up in here.
Does anybody have? I don't think any stadium has that right now.
No.
Yeah, no, nobody has that. I actually am even seeing this as like a post-game family staging area, but kids running around down there.
100%. Well, you nailed it. So
Pretty
you
cool.
know the drill. So that's what this is, the dining area for players pregame. During the game, we'll flip this, and this will become the family area.
Yeah.
These spaces. So this will become family gathering. But you're right. This is immediately
Dude,
adjacent.
that is going to be badass.
Yeah.
This is the main locker room. So this is 80 stalls.
It just seems like this is longer than any locker room I've been in as well. Like size-wise, it feels.
Yeah, I mean, part of this is the function of the building. We were trying to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
And as we were developing all the spaces around it, we were getting squeezed in. So part of it is we kind of had to do it this way. The other part is that we wanted to make sure that in the middle, right? So as coach is speaking, as players are looking at the coach, right? They all have eyesight to the middle. We call this, one of the things you're going to get is the vertical design. So the building grows up in the air, not out.
The thing I am most excited for in this stadium is to hear what this place is going to sound like on opening day.
This feels like more like an arena.
It does.
Than a giant stadium.
But how close everybody is.
Yeah. You're on field. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like, because some of these stadiums are so massive, and those nosebleeds are like so
Fanned out further. Yeah.
Like to me, that might be the best seat in the house.
Field heating system for the winter when it gets cold to keep it mostly from freezing more than anything.
Yeah.
And we also have grow lights, which are the UV simulation. So in the winter with the canopy, we've got some areas that have too much shade, kind of promote more growth.
So it's going to be grass?
Grass, natural grass. Oh yeah, we missed
Terry
the
said-
headline for it. I didn't know that. We missed the headline.
Terry said football's played outside and it's played on natural grass.
Oh, that's a big deal.
Two non-negotiables.
Yeah.
Two non-negotiables right from the start.
Oh, sick. Can we look over that?
Yeah.
Down to
Yep.
You gotta be, I mean, I know you guys got a lot of work to do still, but you gotta be so proud of this building.
It's going to be something that all Bills fans are going to be proud to be part of for sure. This is insane.
Next up on the Sean McDermott Show, we break down some next-gen stats in Sportsology. Plus, hear Coach's final thoughts on facing the Falcons on Monday night.
Sportsology is presented by ECMC. ECMC, official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills.
Through 5 weeks of play, the Bills are 4-1, their best start since 2022. The offense has been productive, top 3 in the NFL, averaging more than 30 points per game. Their defense, top 10 as well, allowing under 300 total yards per game. Here's a look at Buffalo's start to the season. The Bills' offense has been diverse, leaning on the run game and looking to the air to get the job done. Quarterback Josh Allen has found the end zone in a variety of ways, tying for the most total touchdowns with 12. After his 2 passing touchdowns against New England, Allen owns the new franchise record for most games with multiple pass touchdowns with 68, passing Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. Running back James Cook has been an offensive spark, totaling the second most rushing yards at 450 and rushing touchdowns at 5. Buffalo's tight ends have moved the sticks. They lead the NFL with 395 receiving yards. Dalton Kincaid has the second most yards of any tight end with 287. He set a career high with 108 receiving yards in Week 5. He did so from various alignments, catching passes out wide, in the slot, and tight. Defensively, the Bills have the second best pass defense and tie for 9th with 13 sacks. The mindset through 5 games, it takes everyone to win in this league. 8 different Bills players have a touchdown from scrimmage. That's second most in the NFL.
After the break, the crew from Buffalo Bills Weekly gives us their game preview for Monday night's matchup with the Falcons. Plus, Coach tells us what it will take to get the win in Atlanta.
The Bills are on the road to face Atlanta for a Monday Night Football matchup in Week 6. Atlanta's offense is young and has some pop and power to them. Running back Bijan Robinson is a dynamic runner and dynamic through the air. Wide receiver Drake London, a contested catch machine. And then second-year quarterback Michael Penix Jr. is coming off his best game as a pro.
Yeah, all 3 of those guys top 10 picks. So they've got a lot of elite talent there. And you can also, throw in Darnell Mooney, who's their deep threat outside, if he can come back from a hamstring injury and play in this game. against the Bills. And yes, Bijan, I think a lot of people don't realize, he leads the Falcons in receiving yards. He's got 2 100 receiving yard games already. He is job number 1, but the matchups are going to be a problem for a shorthanded defense. London usually lines up in the slot. A 6'4" receiver inside on Taron Johnson. Do they go that way, or do they come up with something else? Maybe put Benford on him, and then you have a 6'6" tight end in Pitts who can really run and make plays as well. Matt Milano probably not playing in this game, and he usually draws tight end coverage assignments. So is it Taylor Rapp? Is it Cole Bishop? There are really some interesting matchups here, and I'm wondering how Bobby Babich is going to cover all the bases.
Buffalo's offense will also have a tough test in this game. Atlanta's defense, full of talented pass rushers. They also have the manpower to spy a quarterback effectively. How can the Bills get off to a hot start offensively?
Yeah, I think it starts with James Cook, and we should mention this is a great game if you love great running backs, 2 of the 5 best backs in the league in Robinson and Cook. But I think they want to get James off to a good start. They're playing what has been an average run defense. Atlanta's 16th in the league against the run. So you get him off to a good start. I think a lot of the other elements of Buffalo's offense fall into place, like play action and other things like that, and getting into favorable down and distance on 3rd down, if you even get to 3rd down. The Atlanta defense has speed to burn. I mean, their 2 inside backers, Divine Diablo and Caden Ellis, are versatile chess pieces. They use them up on the line of scrimmage. They'll play a 4-man front. They'll play a 3-man front. They'll drop Diablo in coverage because he's a good enough athlete to do that. And then the 2 first-round picks, James Pierce and Jalen Walker, off the edge. Those guys are speed screamers off of there. So the Bills really have to mind their P's and Q's with the silent count in a road atmosphere so their tackles can get off and block effectively and not be late off the snap with speed guys like that. And don't forget our old friend Leonard Floyd, who is still a decent pass rusher as well. He's part of that wave that they run on a rotation.
You mentioned the running backs. Usually we're talking about the quarterback matchup. In this one, it's running backs Bijan Robinson and James Cook. They've got great vision. They're versatile backs. They're top 5 in rushing yards and scrimmage yards when you look at their stats.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Bijan Robinson is averaging almost 150 total yards from scrimmage. It leads the league. And James comes into this game as the 2nd leading rusher in football. It's really a treat. And James Cook's played some games down there before from his days at Georgia. He's been in that building, so he'll be amped to get ready to go.
And in this game, the Bills are about to be road dogs, going on the road for the first time in a few weeks. They only have 2 home games before December 7th.
Yeah, it's a little crazy how the schedule has kind of worked out. But look, they had 3 straight home games. You knew they were going to have to get on the road here. Bills were 5-4 on the road last year. All of their losses in the regular season last year came on the road. They were unbeaten at home. They've already got a loss at home. They got to make up for that now somewhere on the road. Hopefully they can get this one here and go into the bye feeling good about themselves.
For more from Brownie and Maddy, including insights from players and coaches, plus exclusive interviews, check your local listings for Buffalo Bills Weekly, also available on Buffalo Bills YouTube.
Coach, once again, back in prime time, you're going to be on the road in Atlanta. It's an unfamiliar – you don't play down there very often. The last time was in 2017. They're 2-2, and they're coming off their bye, so they're going to be a little fresher. What's going to be the focus for the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, they seem to be, playing at a level that is elite at times. And they certainly have weapons and players that you've got to be aware of and try and stop. They make for a tough combination of being able to or try to stop the run game, but also then they open up the pass game. They've got a young quarterback. Very talented team overall and tough place to play.
Yeah, right. They've got Bijan Robinson. He's electric. I mean, he leads the Falcons in rushing and receiving yards, so they've leaned on him. How does a player like that affect your game plan?
Well, they make you commit. They really do. I mean, you see so many highlights of him, even though we've never played him before, but you see him on SportsCenter, I feel like every Sunday night. It's going to have to be like anything else. We've got to swarm and make sure we get to the football and wrap up in our tackling.
Well, probably the guy that appreciates Bijan Robinson most is Michael Penix Jr. He's a young quarterback. He's got also wide receiver Drake London, tight end Kyle Pitts. I mean, they're all top 10 picks. I mean, they're all physically elite, right? So you've got some problems because of that. And Mike Penix Jr., he's finding his footing. He's got a strong live arm. How tough is it, to prepare for an offense that while it has its ups and downs, it's got some guys that are physically gifted?
Yeah, tough matchups, the size of Pitts and the power and explosiveness of Bijan. And And then you look at the wide receiver, like you mentioned, and so you've got to be able to win those one-on-ones outside if you commit to the running game as well. So it makes for a hard striking a good balance in the run and pass game, and then playing good overall as a team.
All right, Coach, thanks. Good luck in Atlanta. We're going to take the bye week off next week. We'll come back and preview your game against the Carolina Panthers, a team you were familiar with for a long time. We're going to look forward to that matchup as well. For you at home, thanks for joining us on the Sean McDermott Show. We're presented by Kaleida Health. We'll see you next time, and as always, go Bills.
Final Thoughts is presented by Toyota. Toyota is the official car and truck of the Buffalo Bills. The Sean McDermott Show is presented by Kaleida Health, the official healthcare system of the Buffalo Bills. By Connors & Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Call 684-COMP today. And by Toyota. Toyota is the official car and truck of the Buffalo Bills.